All right, Finn, here is run 2 in the stubbies. We'll check it out, regular motion, and slow it down. All right. Much better job. Made some good adjustments in that second run. All right, but along the same lines of talking in your first run, tend to get the feet sometimes really close together and get kind of locked up. Here you come through, feet close together. All of a sudden, I think get a little locked up there, and the hand flew back in the back seat. And coming through that, obviously, they had to chuck them sideways. So this is a little, hairpin there. Chuck them sideways, and kind of get a little late there. We're still fighting to get back into the line here. You can see here, you could have really probably just, aimed a little higher above the pole. You came out of this turn going straight at that stubby. We got to remember, we can't go straight at him. We've got to really aim across, higher to where we want to have our apex. And we talked about apex this weekend, where most of the turn shape occurs. So we want to have that apex above the pole. You went straight at it, nowhere to turn here. Had to kind of hit it, and that's where your turn is, down here. We want that turn above, above the gate, right? So if this is the gate, we want to make sure our turn shape is up here, and that's where the apex is, right there, right? Obviously, you went more, you had like a J shape. We want comma-shaped turns. You came straight at it here and turn underneath. All right, so remember, when we come out, when we finish one turn, we got to head off to where we want the next turn to be, not where the next gate to be. So that set you off a little bit of a low line. Not a bad turn there. Obviously, the hand flying around means you're kind of leaning in. Little back seat right there. Under gate, pretty good job there. Hair of a double turn. Remember, under a delay is one nice solid turn. Came in here and you kind of laid off a little bit and then engaged again. But not a bad job. We had a little more direction coming out of the delay, which is good. So you learned from that first run. You got much higher. Still could have been a little higher, but much better. You still would rather have been, however, tight to the pole right here. And the only way to do that was just have a little bit higher line to bring a little bit more shape back up into here. But much better adjustment. Hard to see right here. It just looks as if, can't really see. It looks like really in the back seat. I don't see a whole lot of ankle flexion. Tough ankle. But remember, we got to come through and make a move right now to get those hips up over the boots at the top of the turn. Looks like you're just in that back seat. But much better job here. Here, came through and got your hips up. Now hips up over the boots at the top of the turn. A much better turn shape. Right? You brought shape back to the pole. That's really nice. One thing we've been talking about is these, tight stance with your knees there. We got to try to widen that. We want to have a little bit more space between our knees, as opposed, and the same thing with our skis. So, looking at that, I would say, you have too big of a lead change. In other words, your inside foot is too far forward. So, we got to pull that inside foot back, right? And so we can tip it up, but pull it back and tip it up and get it more aligned with the outside. But there's some good stuff here. I mean, nice scrubber body. I mean, that's like perfect. You were anticipating going down the hill, scrubber body. That's really good positioning right there. And you regain the width there, which is good. And here, like we just talked about, how up above you were heading towards the next pole. Here you're heading towards really where you want to turn. or the apex. That's a great job. So then we can bring some shape back right there, be ahead of the course. Really good. Another good one here. We talk about this where you're intersecting rise line with your skis pointed where? Out and away from the pole, allowing you to bring shape back to the pole. That's a really good job right there. Perfect turn. Nice spacing, good width of the skis, the legs, screw upper body, hands out in front. Little pole touch at the completion of the turn helps you move forward and get off and release the skis and get onto the new one. Pretty good there too. I like that width. Got a hair narrow there for a second. But you got it back. And then it gets really narrow there. You know, knees plastered together. So we want to keep that consistent width of the skis and the legs, but much better run. Great adjustment. So let's make sure we're thinking about the line on, unfortunately on every turn because you missed it a couple of times. We want to make sure we're pulling the inside foot back and tipping it up and trying to maintain that same consistent, athletic stance, the width of the skis, boots, and legs and knees throughout the entire turn. Sometimes through the transition, as the skis come under you, you bring them together. So let's try to maintain that, and that will help. But good job today, Finn.